So this is Baruch here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and we're coming back once again to Likutei MAHARAN. This is the 23rd Torah. The version that we're learning, or the text that we're learning here, also has a Pirush Rahut, a running commentary on the side by Rabbi ELIEZER SHLOMO SCHICK. And I have to say that it can be very, very, very penetrating. And this Torah started out with this crazy story, and this is one of the things that Rabbeinu HaKodesh does. He takes pieces that are obviously secret pieces in the Gemara, in the Talmud, and explains them and brings them to light for us to be able to see. And his is one, Ein Olam Mili de Gedivi. So there's a conversation that's taken between Rabbi Yeshua and the Chachmei Atuna, which they call them in different names. This conversation is before the Caesar at this time. So he said, Emalon Mili de Gedivi, tell us some lies. And he goes through to talk about a mule and the afterbirth of a mule, which can't give birth. And he says the whole thing is a lie. And he says this story is a really, really very difficult one to understand. So he says, come down here, and we read a little bit of the Likutei MAHARAN and of Rav Schick. And now Rav Schick, the Rebbe, Rabbi Nachman, begins over here, and let's see, we get a little bit better focus. So he said, Ve'elu b'nei Adam, hanoflim b'taibus mamon. People who turn their backs to the light of Hashem, and instead get involved in trying to make money. They want to be rich. That they don't believe that Hashem can give you parnasa really very easily. And they put their whole life into trying to make money. They run after the parnasa with tremendous efforts. These are people that it says that they're eating their bread and their panasa, bi'itzavon, comes along with depression. Kamosha Kosev is when bi'itzavon tochlena, because as we have the portion of it that they will eat in depression. So he says this idea of being depressed, sad, is also called the black bile. Mara Shechara, deep depression. Ele b'nei Adam shneksharim b'fonim de sitra achra, they tie themselves to the face of the other side. He writes it, Elokim, Echerim, other gods. Choshech, darkness, Bechinas Misa, the concept of Misa. Kamosha Kasev, Machashkim Hoshieni, from these dark places, save me. He said, and from this it says, Uzahava Nadida, and their gold turns into menstrual blood. He said, V'haida Bechinas Avodah Zarah, that is, what is menstrual blood? If you know anything about Avodah Zarah, it really fits together. He says, a menstrual blood, they use tuma in order to gain power. Like Rabbi says, that it makes a person tome like it's menstruant. That you're gonna join them in like as if they're like a menstruant. So those people whose business dealings are in faith, now everybody that's in business, which I've been in business for a long time, know that there are people that are outright liars. That's the way they do business. They want your money. So actually to perform something, to do something that you want them to do, no, they're not going to do it because they're really looking for the money, nothing else. So, but people who do their business in faith, and their yes is a yes and their no is a no, because these are people who are called emistic, because there is no concept of faith that doesn't have emes to it. What is the emes? The emes of Kudsha Baruch Hu, the Zohar says like this, if you have justice, you do things properly, there you find faith, that you know that it's going to come out. So he says, what is the actual definition of Amunah. It says when what you're seeking is joined together with emes, truth in business, truth in your life and your relationships with others. So it comes out that this truth, being truthful, is really the root of Amunah. The emes hu or hapanim ki yadua, and we understand the light of the face, which in this case could be the face of Eric Anpin, shining down on us in a sweet way, is the concept of Amunah and emes. Without it, it doesn't happen. Now let's come over and let's find that Rav SCHICK, we have a running pirush on this, and let's see what Rabbi ELIEZER SHLOMO SCHICK wants to say. So he says, where would it be? Here we are. He said, "Ve'ela b'nei Adam anoiflim b'tayvus mamon." These people, ve'ena ma'aminim sha'kodesh baruch hu yochel leparnes as Adam b'siva kala. They don't believe that Hashem can make it very easy for you to get a parnasa. V'rovim achar parnasasa b'yigiyas gelos, and they put a tremendous amount of effort into what they're doing. Ve'em oichle lechem b'tzavo, and that's the concept. They eat bread in bitter in depression. Person doesn't believe that Hashem. And then there's a result of that. Everything that he does to make a living is depressed. Sadness. This sadness that we're talking about is the black bile, because they go together. Because when a person turns his back on Hashem, and he doesn't need Hashem, he's going to do it himself, or he doesn't even know that there's Hashem out there, Rahman al-Thon, God forbid. He comes inside of that person. That is, this depression comes onto the person, and the person sits in depression. Which is the black bile, called Mar Shchar. The Rabbeinu HaKodesh, the holy Rebbe NACHMAN, talks about this concept. And what happens is, when you get into this state of mind, you could do anything. As you see all the movies about people who kill other people, and we constantly have that going on here in this culture, is that we glorify the struggle, which could ultimately turn to the side of evil, as we understand how that goes. They always go in dark faces. In other words, the face of God does not shine on them. You could see from looking at their faces, if you knew how to look, or if you wanted to look, you could see in their faces that they don't have Emunah in God. Elohim achirim, but other gods, that's what really dwells within them. So therefore they're always in a state of darkness. Which is the aspect of death. Read like the Machash came Hashivani, from those dark places, Hoshivani, save me out, bring me out. Kamese Oilam, and they're like, that's where the Machashkim Hoshivani, Hoshivani would mean he causes me to dwell. Kamese Oilam, not people who are dead. Va'ayin the Rabbi Zohar, look over there, and Tikkun Kof Hey, what does that do? Kuchul Hoshivin Begalusa Kamesim, all in their galus. It's as if they're dead. Then it's written in regards to them, in the dark place you have made me dwell, like dead people of the world. Because this particular galus, this exile that a person walks into, ala atzvos, the galus, zeh sovev ala atzvos, it really depends on depression. The person sees himself in a panic, or not in a panic, but he sees the depression, v'chamarirus, and the bitterness, shemesavev is adam that surrounds the person, shehu tamid b'mara, that he's always in a bitter state. V'alehem ne'emar, on these people it says the chaver of the nida, that they're all the money that they accumulate is like the money of menstruous. What's the right word? I'm trying to think about the word. Of menstrual blood. After a person runs after silver and gold. And that's the main thing. Wants that car. They are uprooted and they're distanced from Hashem because money becomes the root of the person's life. This is idol worship. Like the rabbi says, that it makes person tame like a menstruant. The moment that a person makes the main thing the money. Through this, the person becomes tremendously distanced from Hashem Yisbarach. Because he's brought himself into the physical world, with all that exists for him is teva, nature. But let's take the opposite. People who do business in faith. And what I mean by that is that when a person says that he's going to do something, he's going to do it. And at the end, you're going to be together. You're going to be able to make it work out because everybody deals in emunah. The kedusha. These people will cling to the face of kedusha, which means the light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu will shine on them. A person who believes this fact, and Rabbi Nachman says this over and over and over again. Everything comes from Hashem. It has only one root. Whatever's happening in your life, whether it's something great, something small, something big, something good, something bad, but it doesn't happen or appear by itself. It's not the person, for example, that you're fighting with. That's not the whole idea. But only through the supervision of the upper ma'atzah, that is the Shem, which causes all things to be. Therefore, Hamasa umatan shalo b'chamuna, ki enu nikdas b'dehu b'chabeshachaveru, because nobody enters into the boundaries of anyone else. It's not his parnasa is his parnasa. Your parnasa is your parnasa. He's not taking from you. He's taking what belongs to him. By a person realizing that he is receiving what he's supposed to receive, and his relationship could be only grown from there, as far as your parnasa is concerned, by continuing to be an emistic person. The person is always happy. And he smiles. It's on his face. That's this Baruch Fleischman heard a little bit of the LIKUTEI MAHARAN and a translation out of Perish Rahut from the holy, most holy Rav ELIEZER SHLOMO SCHICK in the SEFAT HANACHAL.